They said that the Governor General should appoint his own cabinet and the British troops should remain in India for a long time. So these were some of the recommendations. All this happened in 1927. Now what happened? The Indians, we know that why the Secretary of State for India, that we remember in 1857 revolt, we read that India will be ruled by a Secretary of State who will be assisted by a 15-member council. Do you remember that? Administrative changes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yeah. So he is actually the person who is whole and soul responsible for India, who is part of the British cabinet, who is staying in London, England, but he is he's even the boss of the Governor General. Governor General is living in India and he is the head of India, but he also reports to the Secretary of State, correct? So the Secretary of State in those days was Lord Birkenhead. So this Lord Birkenhead, he was so arrogant and he said that you guys are not capable of making any constitutional reforms for yourself, and that is why we have not included you in the Simon Commission. So all the parties, all the political parties in those days, they took this up as a challenge. Okay, so I told you, not only was the INC there, those days not only the Indian National Congress was there, the Hindu Mahasabha was there, the Muslim League was there. Then there were parties which were, exclusively taking care of the depressed classes. So there were leaders who were, fighting for the rights of the depressed classes. So that was a separate political party. So all these political parties were there. All the political parties came together and they said, we have to give a reply to this kind of, charge. We want to refute this charge that we cannot make something for ourselves. How dare they think that we are incapable? So all the parties came together and they appointed Motilal Nehru. Motilal Nehru was Jawaharlal Nehru's father, and he was also a lawyer. So they said, why don't you make a list of constitutional reforms that we want? Okay, please, they gave him the task of making. He made, okay? So a big list of constitutional reforms that we made. That particular document that was made by Motilal Nehru is called the Nehru Report, which is not there in your syllabus. Yesterday I told you to cut it off, right? So Nehru Report is not there, but it's a link to what is going to happen next. So only as a story you listen. So this particular Nehru Report was prepared by Motilal Nehru, which said that India should be given dominion status, and he also gave the structure of the Indian Parliament. He said, just like we have Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha now, similar structure was proposed by Motilal Nehru, and he said we should remove the system of separate and communal electorates which was being propagated by the British people, right? They gave separate electorates for Muslims. So in Muslim League we saw all that, right? So they said there should be joint electorates. So a lot of recommendations he gave, okay? And that Nehru Report was given in 1928 to the British. And it was, they gave exactly 1 year. The Indian National Congress said, by the end of 1929, if you do not, implement these changes, and if you don't get back to us on these matters, then be ready to face a mass movement. Okay, so this is the significance of the Nehru Report. Okay, after Simon Commission, the Nehru Report was prepared to prove to the British that we are capable and we are self-reliant, and even though there are so many different parties, we all can come together and we can agree on something commonly. Clear? So this happened. Nehru Report was given. 1 year got over. December 1929. Annual session of Indian National Congress was going to be held. By that time also, they did not hear from the British. Not a single reply came. Neither did they say that the report will be accepted. Neither did they say that the report will not be accepted. Nothing. They just kept silent on the matter. So when this happened, they decided now it is time for mass action. So they said now we have to take steps. The British are not taking us seriously. So Vaishnavi, yesterday you asked me, why did we not ask for complete freedom? So now was the time. right? So this is the time when they decided that the British are not taking them seriously at all. So they said, why are we asking for dominion status? Dominion status means that we need independence within the British rule. So let us completely abandon that idea of dominion status and let us ask for Purna Swaraj. Okay, so the resolution for Purna Swaraj was taken in the 1929 Lahore session. Are we clear? So in the Lahore session, the decision to ask for Purna Swaraj was taken. And on 31st December, so the eve, the New Year's Eve, you can say, they marched that whole, they made a procession, they marched to the banks of River Ravi, because this was in Lahore, right? This was in Punjab. So they marched to the banks of River Ravi, and they hoisted, Jawaharlal Nehru hoisted the tricolor flag. He was the president of INC in 1930. He was elected the president, so he hoisted the tricolor flag for the very first time. So our Indian flag was hoisted for the first time on the banks of River Ravi on 31st December. Okay, are we now clear? This happened. After that, that time only they decided that 26th January, that is on 1930, we are talking about December 1929, the Lahore session was there. So within 1 month, next month, on January 26th, they decided we will celebrate Purna Swaraj Day. Okay, every year. So Purna Swaraj, that January 26th became the Purna Swaraj Day. And every year they celebrated January 26th as the Independence Day. We declared ourselves independent, and we started celebrating 26th January as the Independence Day till we actually got independence from the British in 1947. Are we clear? That is why we decided to adopt our, constitution on January 26th, because we want to remember this
that day.
Yes, for so many years we have been celebrating Purna Swaraj Day. We have celebrated it as our Independence Day. So in that Lahore session, certain important decisions were taken. What were the decisions? First, they said we will undertake a mass action, civil disobedience movement we are going to launch. Okay, that was the session in which the decision to do civil disobedience was taken. Second, they said we will celebrate 26 January as Purna Swaraj Day. Third, they said that, all existing people, who are already members of INC, who were already in some legislature, or they were elected as legislative members, some of them. So they said all of them are going to resign. All of them are going to resign from their posts, and they are going to launch the civil disobedience movement. So then they went to Gandhiji. They met him in Sabarmati Ashram, and they told him that please launch, give a call for civil disobedience and let us start this civil disobedience movement. So before starting the civil disobedience movement, Gandhiji gave a 11-point ultimatum. He also gave one time, he gave a 11-point ultimatum to the British. So 11 points were given, and that was sent to the British to reply on those 11 points. The British did not reply, as usual. So Gandhiji said, now let us launch the civil disobedience movement, which was a nationwide movement. The civil disobedience movement was different from non-cooperation movement because here the Indians decided to violate certain specific laws and taxes. They said we will not pay some taxes. So Gandhiji chose the salt tax. He said the best way of launching the civil disobedience movement was to disobey the salt tax and not pay the salt tax. Why? Salt tax is the most unjust tax. It is the basic ingredient, in any food that is prepared. Next to air and water, that is what Gandhiji said. Gandhiji said next to air and water, salt is the requirement of every person. And the poorest of poor people also require salt. So taxing such a commodity is very bad. So we are going to break the salt laws, and we are going to manufacture our own salt, because those days Indians were not allowed to make salt. They were not allowed to manufacture salt. They had to buy the salt and pay salt tax. So he decided to break the salt laws by not paying, sorry, by not paying the salt tax and manufacturing our own salt. So what did he do? He started a big procession walking from Sabarmati Ashram to Dandi. Dandi is a coastal town, a coastal place in Gujarat. Okay, it's some 300 kilometers away it is. So he said, I'm going to walk from Sabarmati Ashram to Dandi up to the seashore. And in the seashore, the sea waves of water will keep, when they go away, lot of salt is deposited on the sea, on the coast also. Because when the sun, this thing dries up that sea water, there is salt there. So he said that I will go there and I will take salt from there. So along the way, so many people, 78 people followers he had, but then lots of people joined to all the villages that he walked. As he kept on walking, so many people joined him. In fact, he himself wears only that dhoti, white dhoti, and everybody who joined that that march, they were all wearing white dress. So from far, when you see, it looked like a winding white river. So that is what they said, that a big river, white river is flowing. That is how the appearance was when you see that big procession that was going to Dandi. So they went to Dandi, and then he picked up a handful of salt from the sea, from the coast, okay, on the beach. And he said, now the salt law is broken. And he said, from now onwards, we will make our own salt and we will not pay. Along with salt, they decided to break all other taxes also. We will not pay the other taxes. So this non-payment of taxes and breaking laws like this was not part of the non-cooperation movement. This is the difference. Non-cooperation was not cooperating with the administration, not attending school, not attending college, not buying, foreign goods, all that. But civil disobedience, it involved non-payment of taxes as well. Clear? That is the difference. So this is this thing. Let's see a video on this. Where am I?
I, for one, have never had remedies like passive. If I may, I, for one, have never advocated passive anything. I'm with Mr. Jinnah. We must never submit to such laws. Ever. And I think our resistance must be active and provocative. Yeah. I want to embarrass all those who wish to treat us as slaves. Thank you. All of them. Forgive my stupid illustration.
Allow me.
No, please, but I want to change their minds, not kill them for weaknesses we all possess.
And what resistance would you offer?
The law is due to take effect from April the 6th. I want to call upon the nation to make that a day of prayer and fasting.
You mean a general strike?
I mean a day of prayer and fasting. Of course, no work could be done, no buses, no trains, no factories, no administration. The country would stop.
God, it would terrify them.
What I would like to do is to come to some compromise over the new
If you
civil
would excuse me, Your Excellency, it is our view that matters have gone beyond legislation. We think it is time you recognized that you are masters in someone else's home. Despite the best intentions of the best of you, you must, in the nature of things, humiliate us to control us.
You don't think we're just going to walk out of India?
Yes. In the end, you will walk out. Because 100,000 Englishmen simply cannot control 350 million Indians if those Indians refuse to cooperate. And that is what we intend to achieve. Peaceful, non-violent, non-cooperation, till you yourself see the wisdom of leaving, Your Excellency.
Wait a minute. You know what you're going to do, don't you?
It would have been very uncivil of me to let you make such a long trip for nothing.
Where you going?
Come.
Where are we going?
I'm going back to the ashram. Then I'm going to prove to the new viceroy that the king's writ no longer runs in India.
Salt.
Yes, sir. He's going to march to the sea and make salt.
Mr. Gandhi will find it takes a great deal more than a pinch of salt to bring down the British Empire.
Is it all over if they arrest you now?
Not if they arrest me or 1,000 or 10,000. It's not only generals who know how to plan campaigns.
What if they don't arrest you? What if they don't react at all?
Something for your notebook. The function of a civil resistor is to provoke response. And we will continue to provoke until they respond or they change the law. They are not in control. We are. That is the strength of civil resistance. Man needs salt as he needs air and water. This salt comes from the Indian Ocean. Let every Indian claim it as his right.
And so, once more, the man of non-violence has challenged the might of the British Empire.
It's gone beyond.
Okay, one. So you saw? So that is how the civil disobedience movement was launched. Okay. So quickly, let me wait. Period ends at 10:55. The period ends. Okay. 1 minute. Let us see this. So what were the factors that led to civil disobedience? One of the factors is declaration of Purna Swaraj. The Indian National Congress served an ultimatum to the British government to accept the Nehru report by the end of 1929, but it did not get any positive response.
Ma'am, it is not clear.
Yes, ma'am, it's not clear.
Ma'am, it is blur. Okay, now?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay, wait, let me share it once again, because in mine it is showing very clear. Let me share it once again. Is it?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am, it's like
No,
that.
ma'am, it's not like that. No, ma'am, it's not visible.
Ma'am, should I send you the pic?
Wait. Now?
No, ma'am, it's big.
No.
It became more blur.
It became more blur.
Nope, nope.
Okay, doesn't matter. I will read, you listen. Anyway, I'm going to send this in the group. So the Indian National Congress served an ultimatum, and by 1929, by the end of 1929, it did not get any positive response. So at the Lahore session in 1929, Jawaharlal Nehru was made the president, and a resolution was passed making Purna Swaraj as the objective of the Congress. The tricolour was hoisted on the banks of River Ravi. and the Congress decided to prepare for civil disobedience. 26 January was observed as Purna Swaraj Day all over the country. Before launching the movement, Gandhiji served an 11-point ultimatum to the British. But as the Congress got no response, the civil disobedience movement was started with the Dandi March. So, Dandi March, beginning of civil disobedience movement. Gandhiji began the Dandi March by starting from Sabarmati Ashram to Dandi, a village on the Gujarat seacoast. A number of people followed him. Gandhiji violated the salt laws in Dandi by picking up a handful of salt left by the sea waves. He decided to attack the salt law as it affected even the poor. The breaking of the salt law marked the beginning of the civil disobedience movement. So now, did you understand? All that I have already explained and we have seen in the video only is there. Any doubts here? No doubts, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What were the programs? Not only was the, non-payment of taxes, of course, was one of the things. Defiance of salt laws was one more program. But what they did in non-cooperation also, they continued. That is boycott of liquor, boycott of foreign goods, all that also they continued. What they did in non-cooperation movement, they did those types of protests also. But in addition, they defied the salt laws and they decided not to pay taxes. So these were the programs of the civil disobedience movement. Then naturally, the government is not going to sit and twiddle its thumbs and be very happy that people are protesting. So it started repressing. How did it repress the movement? All important leaders, including Gandhiji, were arrested. So all important leaders were arrested. Gandhiji also. And public meetings were banned. Protesters were lathi charged. Congress was declared illegal. Press was muzzled. Press was muzzled means there were restrictions on vernacular press to criticize or talk anything about the British. Now all this is, this is common. Repression points, you will see they are common for all the movements. Are we clear till now, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So one
Yes,
more.
ma'am.
It's 10:55 is the time. I'll show you one more video, which is an actual clipping of the Dandi March. Okay, a small clipping I will show. One second. Where are we? Hello? Oh, here. Yeah. Now let me share that screen. Can you all see?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
After the day's march through heat and dust, Gandhi and his followers entered the village Dharamshala for the night's rest. In the evening, the prayer meeting was held in the village. Gandhi explained his mission. The soldiers of the first batch had burnt their boats the moment the march began. He added that he would not return to the ashram until the Salt Act was repealed and Swaraj won. Next morning, the people of Aslali saw Gandhi stride away with his pilgrim band to the next stage in the journey to the sea. Daily, Gandhi tramped about 10 miles. On the way, he spoke on his familiar themes, beseeching the people to abjure alcohol, abandon child marriage, and, when the signal came, to break the salt law. As the procession marched through village after village, the people followed the fortunes of this marching column from day to day, and the temperature of the country went up. Truth was once again on the march. Never was the wave of patriotism so powerful in the hearts of Indians as it was on this great occasion. The eyes of the world were focused on Gandhi and on Dandi, a small village on the seashore in Gujarat, which was preparing to receive streams of men and women. After a 241-mile-long trek lasting for 24 days, the pilgrims reached the promised land on the morning of April 5th. Sarojini Naidu received Gandhi and his followers on the outskirts of the village. After relaxing for a few hours, he set out to prepare the people for the war against the salt tax that was to begin next morning. He issued a warning. Those who fear the government will leave. Only those who are prepared for jail going and for receiving bullets should accompany me tomorrow morning. The leaders and his followers bathed in the sea. After the dip into the sea, walking at a slow pace in solemnity, Gandhi picked up a ceremonial reception to the Satyagrahis on the outskirts of the village.
So this is an actual clipping, okay, of the Dandi March, and that was from the movie. I trust you all after seeing this, okay, after that, now you all can, we have covered two major moments, so you can see the whole movie, and I'm really requesting you all to see the entire movie of Gandhi.
Ma'am, which movie?
On Gandhi, the Gandhi, I sent you the link on the group.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Yes,
I've
ma'am.
already seen it.
Yeah, ma'am, me too.
Yeah, no, you will be, yeah, good. If you have seen it now, fine. So you are able to relate. But
Yes.
after we discuss this, if you see it is a different experience, because now you have understood the significance of all that. After we discuss in class what all happened, and when we know the backstory, and when we know why something was happened and all, when we have discussed so much, we are already aware of the information. So with that information, when you see the movie, you will be able to connect to everything that happens there. So you will appreciate it even more. So please see in English only, the Gandhi. Okay, it's there in YouTube, free. And that's it, children. I think today's class I will stop here. We will do the reading in the next class, where we will see, how the, movement stopped temporarily. Again, it was renewed, and then the impact. So in the next class, we should be able to finish this chapter and
Okay,
proceed
ma'am.
to the next. Okay.
Okay,
So
ma'am.
have a good day. Up to civil disobedience, up to that you can complete the questions with till wherever we have done. Okay,
Okay,
listen.
ma'am.
Okay,
On
ma'am.
Monday, I want you all to show your books that you have written all the answers in the Zoom class. I'm going to check.
Ma'am, can you
Because-
on the group send the question number, what you have to write for the civil disobedience?
I will send. I will
Thank
send
you,
that. But I am trusting that all of you are completing the work. So those who are not writing, you'll be in trouble. You have to write, and you have to show me that you have written all the chapters work till now. Okay. Chalo, take care. Bye bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.